Ooh, I like this area. This looks cool.
It sure is quiet here.
Such silence bodes ill. There's trouble on the way. I'm certain of it.
You know, a little optimism now and then wouldn't hurt, Weiss.
Such cheek.
Those glasses, yeah.
Beware. Beware. The words.
The words? What do you mean?
Contagious words. Those who dream.
Those who dream?
Hold a moment. There is a strange new sensation in my mind.
Weiss's voice rose in a quizzical way.
It is not quizzical.
What's going on?
The villager's body shuddered as he slowly opened his eyes.
Perhaps we should start by asking this man.
Who are you?
We heard something happened to this village, so we came to see if we could help.
The mayor stared at Donut and
If you could
Donut and
speak
Weiss.
to me, I must have caught you in my dream.
In your dream?
The mayor explained. In the past weeks, a mysterious disease called the Death Dream had spread across the forest of myth. Those who caught it were cursed to fall asleep and live forever within the world of their own dreams. The village mayor had determined the Death Dream was spread from person to person by spoken words, but before he could learn more, the disease took him as well. Weiss stared at the mayor, his mouth twitching
Now
slightly.
see here. Are you saying that we have been absorbed into your dream?
Well, yes. I think you have.
In other words, we've caught the Death Dream?
Before the mayor could confirm Donut's suspicion, Weiss exploded with rage.
Ridiculous. Preposterous. Completely unfathomable on every conceivable level. I don't even recall falling asleep.
That's just how the Death Dream works.
Though polite, the mayor was clearly trying to brush aside the book's remarks.
My remarks are not to be brushed aside, fool.
The mayor twisted his mouth into an embarrassed grimace, then quickly changed the subject to who Donut had seen, and what they had discussed since coming to the village.
Something there must have caused you to enter my dream. A certain conversation, a specific word, something.
Donut and Weiss racked their brains, but could find no easy solutions. There's simply too many words to consider, too much random chatter, too many meaningless conversations.
Grimoire Weiss does not engage in meaningless conversations.
The mere suggestion that Weiss chose his words carelessly seemed to sting his pride.
It does not seem to sting my pride, you bloated gasbag of a narrator. It has demolished it utterly.
Irritated, Weiss looked skyward, as if searching for answers in the heavens.
I was doing no such thing. Just leave me alone already.
The anger created by his harsh words bled over to Donut like a contagion. Wait, said Donut suddenly. Did someone say contagion? Yes, I believe so. What of it? Well, the villager told us to watch out for contagious words, right? The mayor leaned forward with renewed interest, pushing a startled Weiss aside in the process. You must have said something, right? Asked the mayor. Some specific combination of words. What was it? It was about dreaming, or something that dreams, or what the hell was it? A sheep? Cried Weiss suddenly, blurting out the first thing that popped into his head. The others stared at him for a moment before slowly shaking their heads. After a few more minutes of thought, Donut's face suddenly lit up. I remember, those who dream. That's what he said, I'm sure of it. At this, the mayor produced a thick sheaf of papers from his pocket. He flipped through them a few times before finally nodding his approval at Donut. That sounds right, he said, as a stray sheet of paper fluttered to the ground. My notes also mentioned something about that. I bet it was the last thing you heard before you fell asleep. The mayor shook his head, his worn pencil stub tracing lines across a lone piece of paper. For the last month, I've done nothing but study the disease we call the death dream, he said. I mean, I'm the mayor, right? It's my job to protect the people from whatever comes along, but I've never experienced a couple of outsiders to start entering people's dreams. The mayor paused, a grimace crossing his face. I should probably be taking notes or something. Weiss immediately fired back. I applaud the force of will it takes to research a disease in your dreams, he said. But perhaps we should bend your efforts to escaping this place instead of trying to understand it. The mayor's hand tightened around his pencil, snapping off the tip. I've tried to escape. From the very first moment I realized I was locked inside my own dream, I've been looking for a way out. But I don't think it exists. I mean, this is my dream, right? If there was an exit, I'd know about it. He paused for a moment, his unfocused eyes staring at nothing. My village was beautiful, he said, to no one in particular, and it was filled with the most wonderful people you could ever hope to meet. But once this disease took hold, things changed. It's like someone took a sponge and soaked all the color out of our lives. I just want us to be whole again. I just want us to be free. And I won't stop trying until it happens. Donut nodded in agreement. Huh? Wait a second, I didn't nod. Look, if we can be of any... Oh, that might have been Weiss, actually. Or no, that was Donut. If we can be of any help, said Donut. Just ask. Now hold on. I did not just say that. Silence! Cried Weiss. The Grimoire looked from Donut to the mayor and back again, his face filling with confidence. Grimoire Weiss's face is always confident, thank you very much. Now see here, Mayor, you told us that nothing can exist in this dream without your knowing of it. But you seemed surprised to see us when we first arrived, yes? The mayor slowly raised his head, realization dawning on his face. Oh my god, you're right. You're right! I had no idea you were coming. The human imagination is a limitless engine, said Weiss, and dreams are the fuel. If you can imagine an exit, then it must be so. With your permission, we shall search it out. Thank you, said the mayor. I don't know how I can repay you. Payment is not required. We're as eager as you to be done with this place. The mayor suddenly felt as if he could breathe again. He'd almost forgotten what it was like. Good luck, you two. He called to the departing forms of Donut and Weiss. We're all counting on you. As Donut slowly faded into the misty forest, the mayor was struck by a sense of deja vu. I saw this man once before, he thought. But where? Donut's mood darkened as he trudged through the forest. Hours earlier, when the beauty of the place was still a thing, he had been confident they could get in, find the exit, and be home in time for dinner. But the deeper they went, the more the forest closed in around him. The mist made it difficult to see more than a foot in any direction, and moss-covered rocks seemed determined to twist his ankle. Reading, unfortunately, makes me sleepy. I spent all day reading, and it's maybe put me in a sleepy mood. Anyway, more than once he'd been forced to steady himself on the rough bark of a tree, and his hands now left small trails of blood on everything he touched. Yeesh. Additionally, Weiss was proving to be a spectacularly poor traveling companion. Unhindered by either terrain or physical effort, he spent most of his time urging Donut to pick up the pace, and grumbling about their slow progress. Finally, after Weiss muttered something about legless turtles being more adept at navigating the environment, Donut snapped. Okay, Weiss, cram it for a second, would you? You don't have to walk. Donut leaned against a tree and tried to stretch the knots from his back. How can this stupid forest be so big? He muttered to himself. The moment the words tumbled from his mouth, a cacophony of insects sprang to life. Every imaginable form of buzz, click, and hiss roared out at a volume that rattled his teeth. Donut slapped his hands over his ears and screamed to be heard. Weiss, what's going on? Donut could see Weiss's mouth moving, but he might as well have been shouting in a tornado. The insects screamed, the forest howled, and then just as Donut's ears seemed ready to tear from his head and go running for cover, the sound diminished. Hesitantly, he removed his hand from his left ear and listened to the creatures of the woods. Zree. Shack, shack, shack. Chick, chick, chee. Chick, chick, chee. Woo, woo, woo. As the insect symphony dimmed another decibel, Donut began to detect patterns in the sound. This isn't random, he thought. It's not just white noise. It's something else. The insects weren't just calling out. They were asking a question. One with it is lacking. 2 with it is ideal. 3 with it is dangerous. What is it? By my pages, is it a riddle? I guess so. I mean, it feels sort of forced, but maybe it's the key to getting out of this place. Then I shall leave it to you to answer. 1 with it lacking, 2 with it is ideal, 3 with it is dangerous. What is it? I mean, it sounds like a secret. I mean, I love the seesaw answer just because, yeah, what do you do with that third person? The answer is a seesaw. Something that's ideal with 2 people, but dangerous with 3. Oh! It's a seesaw! Vice's mouth flew open, but before he could say anything, the world suddenly shifted. Reen, wah. Okay. When Donut came to, he was once again surrounded by the sound of insects. The cries of insects were creating words. Words he'd heard somewhere before. Okay. It didn't like that. Inwardly furious that Weiss left the task to him, Donut sighed and gave the only answer that made sense. It's a secret. Right? The sound of insects stopped as suddenly as it began. The forest undergrowth parted before Donut like a rippling wave, opening a new path. These forest arthropods are making a road for us. Oh. These forest arthropods are making a road for us, said Weiss with glee. Pleased at passing the test, Donut moved on with new intensity. The path offered his body relief from the undergrowth, but gave even greater cheer to his mind. As long as they were on a path, their journey had a purpose. I guess the forest has accepted us, huh? Donut said after a bit. Weiss spun around to face his companion. Do not mistake the will of this forest for some happy pet you can suddenly befriend. We have no idea where this path leads. As Weiss finished speaking, the pair turned a corner and found themselves facing a clear forest spring. Smiling, Donut picked up a small rock and sent it skipping across the water. Good heavens, said Weiss. His surprise was undeniable. Each time the rock struck the surface of the water, a musical note rang out. When the rock finally stopped moving and sank to the bottom of the spring, the ripples it left behind came together to form words. I enter through the window, but I break no glass. When night falls, I vanish. What am I? Absurdly easy, barked Weiss. Now answer it. Donut grit his teeth and tried not to reach out and strangle his companion. He is right, after all. This one is pretty easy. It is a bird. No, it's sunlight. Sunlight! A plume of water suddenly burst from the spring. Sunlight filtered through the trees and reflected off the pane. Or plume, creating a... Sorry, I was thinking window still. Creating a shimmering rainbow that spanned the entire horizon. In all my years, said Weiss softly, I've never seen such a sight. Perhaps I've misunderstood the intentions of this place. Hey, look! Cried Donut, awaking Weiss from his daze. There's a house or something over there. Glancing in the direction that is of his friend's extended hand, Weiss saw a small cottage nestled among the trees. That's weird, isn't it, Weiss? I mean, who'd build a house all the way out here? Donut walked over and pounded on the door. After a minute of solid banging, the door cracked open and a small man peered out. His body was cloaked from neck to toe in a large black cape, while his face was obscured by mist. Began Donut, but before he could get any further, the cloaked man held a hand up and began speaking. I have 4 legs in the morning, 2 at noon. But at the end of night, with 3, what am I? Donut tried to ask the cloaked man who he was and what he was doing here, but he simply repeated the question. If we wish to engage this man in conversation, said Weiss, we must answer his riddle. Yeah, I suppose, said Donut. Well, at least it's an easy one. It is a man. The mist dissolved from the cloaked figure as he spoke a single word. Correct. With that, the man flung his garment aside, revealing his true identity. You're the mayor, cried Donut. The small man slowly shook his head. I'm not the mayor, you know. Now listen to my words. Long ago, I saw a vision of you. That was not yourself. Sorry? What's that mean? It will make sense in time. At present, I simply congratulate you on cracking the seal of the Death Dream. Now you must go to the person at the forest entrance. With that, the man turned on his heel and slammed the door behind him. As Donut watched, mist seeped up from the ground and enveloped the cottage, erasing it from existence. Donut and Weiss returned to the forest entrance. They found the mayor leaning against a tree. As soon as he caught sight of the duo, he sprang to his feet and scrambled over to them. Good gravy, he cried. You made it. You actually made it back. His left hand grasped Donut's and pumped it so fiercely it threatened to dislodge from the socket, while his right seized Weiss by the cover and swung him through the air. Gah! By the heavens, stop shaking me, fool. We have not even told you if we were successful or not. The mayor smiled broadly and shook his head. I'm just happy you're alive. I didn't think I'd ever see you again. Donut withdrew himself from the mayor's eager handshake with a slight smile. We broke the Death Dream seal, he said. At least I think we did. I knew that. Man, this is like the last thing that I needed right now. I specifically loaded up NieR because my eyes are kind of tired, and I didn't want to play or record anything that required an extensive amount of reading because, like, I already have kind of a weird double vision thing in my eyes and slight dyslexia, and combo that with a very low-grade headache, and I'm just, like, I'm suffering here. This is rough. How long is this section? The game sensed my weakness. Boy, howdy it did. Like, I love the idea of this. Yeah, maybe we're done. We'll see how this goes. I don't know if I can do another one of these. The mayor's face beamed as Donut filled him in on the details. When the tale was done, the three of them laid down on the forest ground and fell asleep. Donut cocked his head. Okay, hang on a second. This is crazy. Why would we just lay down and go to sleep? Cease your endless prattle and go to sleep, fool. Fighting against the rules of this place is futility itself. Donut and the mayor obediently reclined atop the grassy earth. Have you forgotten? Continued Weiss. There's the words that control the Death Dream, words that allow us to move from place to place. No matter how unnatural they seem, the words are absolute. Therefore, if the words tell us to sleep, then sleep we shall. And once we do, the story will continue. With that, the trio found their eyes growing heavy, their breath slowing. This is the first time, began the mayor, the first time I felt tired since I was imprisoned here. His words were cut off by a loud, long yawn. I could do that. And he remembered nothing more. They might have slept for an hour or a year. When they awoke, things had a slightly more real quality to them. The mist felt thicker, the leaves greener. It was clear they had awoken from their dream. Donut shook the mayor's shoulder gently. Good news, he said. I think we made it. Oh, wow, said the mayor in an odd voice. We did. I'm back. He blinked once, then again, as if not quite believing the sight before him. You two have no idea how much this means. The Death Dream was spreading through our village, and I wanted to... Or I thought I could figure out how to stop it, but I guess that wasn't the case. I must have caught the disease and began trapped in my own dream. The mayor started to stand, then collapsed back to the earth. He stared at his legs as if trying to remember how they worked, then glanced at Donut and shrugged. Without a word, the young man reached down and pulled the mayor to his feet. Real life may take some getting used to, said the mayor with a wry smile, crossing his lips. Was that crossing his lips? Is that what it said? Look, I am actually, I'm not going to say I'm falling asleep or going on autopilot on this, but like, I didn't think my eyes could get less focused than they were. Oof. You should return. Oh, you should return in short order, I'm sure. Oh, relearn in short order, I'm sure, said Weiss. But now you should return to your home and rest. No, said the mayor, swaying on his unsteady feet. No, I can't. Some of the villagers are still trapped in the death dream. I have to save them. The mayor slowly made his way to the divine tree in the center of the village, then bowed his head and prayed silently. This is a holy tree, he explained when the prayers were finished. It is the guardian of our village's history and memories. Superstition will only make our mission harder, muttered Weiss. We should not put our faith into with the gods. Oh, in the gods. Boy. The mayor shook his head. Not the gods, the words. Legend says our tree is home to a powerful magic known as a sealed verse. Donut and Weiss could not contain their surprise. It seemed a goal had been found in the most unexpected of places. I say, muttered Weiss. This is certainly a stroke of luck. As the three of them said their goodbyes, Donut mentioned the strange man who had given them the third riddle, and the mysterious words he'd left with them. I once saw a vision of you that was not yourself, muttered the mayor. What in the world does that mean? Lost in thought, he stared into space for a long moment. You know, he said softly, it was going to sound odd, but I had a feeling I'd seen you before, too. Donut tried to keep a straight face and failed, but the mayor didn't seem to notice. Deja vu, right? Anyway, I figured it's some kind of illusion created by the death dream. It probably doesn't mean anything. Donut gave the mayor a nod, but inwardly his thoughts were racing. There's something wrong about the mayor and his words. What exactly is going on here? That riddle would prove to be the most difficult one of all.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Now I can finally return to a normal life.
This is one of the most bizarre diseases I have ever encountered.
I know. That's why we have to help the other villagers, no matter what.
Okay, Dark Execution. Hey!
For a sealed verse, that didn't take much effort.
Yes, all a touch too easy if you ask me. It's almost as if someone was guiding us to this village.
Don't overthink advice.
Okay. I'm gonna go save. I guess honestly, if we get thrown into another one of these, I'm gonna go grab Shell and beg her to do it for me. Because I've always been pretty bad about, like, reading stuff aloud. But it's especially bad today.
This person must be dreaming too.
It would appear that way, yes.
Can't say I'm very excited to go back there. That dream world sorta creeps me out.
Perhaps you should spend less time complaining and more time getting on with the mission.
Yeah.
Okay. I will be right back with authentic girl voice, and she will actually be capable of getting through this without me destroying myself. Get ready for some tech segments, everybody.
I breathe air scented with death and resist the urge to laugh, for I know it will sound like the words of a madman. How long have I been in this fresh hell? My box, my prison, is tucked beneath a stairway in the long unused catacombs of some infinite castle. Outside, I hear the sounds of a funeral dirge that plays without end. Light has no place here. Wind is a forgotten friend. I pray for death to come, but he forsakes me. Time passes. An eternity slips by in a single tick of the clock. Someone knocks on my prison. Anyone there? I hear an unfamiliar voice say, "My savior." I claw at the door of my jail, embedding thick splinters under my ragged nails. I scream for help. I laugh. I sob. Surely this is a product of my addled mind. Surely it cannot be true. Help me! I cry. For the love of all the gods, help me! Impossibly, I hear the sound of a lock being torn out and falling to the floor. As the door slowly creaks open, I have just enough time to see a silver-haired boy and a floating book before the light pours inside. My eyes, accustomed to the blackness, explode with pain, and I'm forced to turn away. Who are you? I ask, shaking hands covering my face. How have you come to this place? I am Grimoire Weiss. This is Donut. Wait a minute! Donut! Alright. Wander named his character Donut. So, wait, the book talks? If the floating book is the grimoire. Huh. Well then. Alright. It's so weird. Why Donut? Long have we been searching for you. Now come, stand. We shall awaken from this nightmare together. The one known as Donut extends his hand and pulls me from the cell. Though my eyes are slow to adjust to freedom, my ears are as keen as ever, and they recognize the staccato sounds of heavy rain. I never thought to hear that again, I whisper. Would that this were not such a terrible storm, said Grimoire Weiss. Look at your feet. I force my eyes open and see water pooling around my ankles and lapping at my shins. There's so much of it. Yes, and more comes each moment we delay. If we do not make good on our escape, we shall all drown in this castle. We know you are weak, but you are our only hope to survive this place. Time, that long-forgotten friend, made itself known again. I nodded my head and swore to save my rescuers, no matter the cost. The castle catacombs are a maze, twisting upon themselves like the endless entrails of a giant. I squint down the dim corridors and proceed north. Yes? I suppose I have to select this? At the end of the corridor, I find a row of 20 gorgeous canopied beds resting atop a carpet of velvet. All are covered in a thick layer of dust and cobwebs. Searching for the door in the next room, I come upon a shapeless mass of gray matter. It has been shoved against the side of the wall, and despite my fever, I think I see the outlines of a door just beyond. When I reach out a finger and touch a piece of the mass, it turns to dust and drifts away on the wind. Realization slowly dawns, and I fall to my knees and weep. Corpses! I face a mountain of charred and crumbling corpses. I look from it to the beds and back again until the horror dawns full upon me. Someone has piled these bodies into a tower and set them ablaze. Whether they were alive or dead, I do not know. Insanity will not permit me to consider the proposition further. I make a sound. Whether scream or laugh, I cannot be certain. And then my mind grants me merciful blackness, and I find myself opening the door and leaving that most terrible of rooms. I squint down the dim corridors. Oh, interesting. This might be a maze. So, as I recall, we had proceeded north to get into this room. So if we went south, we'd be back at the start. So wouldn't we just proceed east? I think so. I should probably take notes. So we originally went north, and that took us into the corpse room. And then I have the choice of south or east. And I'm going to go east. Let's see what that does. Whereas Wander, he cannot read. So, and he's also eating by the smell of it. He is having some of the vegetarian meatloaf I had made for him. In any case, let's proceed east. I squint down the dim corridors. Wait. And proceeding west would take us back the way we came. So I'd go north again? I squint down the dim corridors. Oh, there's all directions now. Well, east, west, or north again. Probably. Let me see. How about north? At the end of the path, the waters rise to my waist, exhausting me both physically and spiritually. I pray that this is the way out. Eventually, I can stand the sight of the waters no longer, and I turn my eyes upward. Imagine my surprise when I see a series of paintings hanging on the faded plaster wall. Each depicts a person in the prime of their life, clad in clothing of the highest quality. The styles, however, are strange to me, leading me to believe that these people had lived long, long ago. One subject wears an outfit that particularly catches my eye. It is constructed of a thin, breezy cloth, decorated with a motif of flowers and birds, while encircling the figure's waist is a leather belt of one of the most perfect construction. It is a stunning costume, even by modern standards. As I gaze at the portrait, I am struck by a desire to touch it with my own hands. Yet, as I extend a single finger to the painting, I am gripped by a most unpleasant feeling. Staring closely at the image, I see it bend and warp into the shape of another finger. Something behind the picture is pointing at me. Is it another prisoner? A fellow inmate trapped for eternity in this place? I cannot let it pass, and so I seize the portrait with both hands and throw it into the water. The wall is hollow behind the painting, and inside, I can just make out a body. Whether or not it is a prisoner, there would be no rescue. The poor soul is long dead. Scraps of clothing lie on the floor around the bones. Only a small amount of the fabric has survived, but it features the same delicate designs as the one depicted in the portrait. I have been admiring a row of corpses, blocked from view by portraits of each victim at their pinnacle. Enough! Shielding my eyes, I paddle forward through the water. I squint down the dim corridors and proceed south. Okay, so we had to go back. So north led to the 4 portraits and corpses. So east or west? We haven't gone west yet. Let's go west. At the end of the path, a row of heavy wooden casks lie on their sides in a dark chamber. Doubtlessly they are filled with wine. My thirst roars to life. I cannot remember the last time my parched throat had relief. I scramble to the first cask and pull frantically at the cork. The theft of a few cups means nothing, I tell myself. The casks will be ruined by the flood regardless. Finally, the cork surrenders to my attack, and thick red liquid bursts forth from the hole. Ooh, I could only imagine this being something vile, probably blood. This is no wine. Yep, I knew it. It is blood still warm from the body. Whether animal or something else, I cannot say. The foul liquid soon mixes with the rising floodwaters, creating a warmth that laps against my thighs. Oh, by all the gods! Are the rest of these casks filled with blood as well? I lack the courage to confirm my suspicion. Disgust quickly becomes fear as I turn to flee, but my weakened legs betray me, sending me toppling over into the red ocean below. The smell of death is everywhere, It threatens to consume me. I must escape this hell. Crawling on all fours like an animal, holding back screams lest any foulness enter my mouth, I lurch forward through the red waters and out of the room to freedom. I squint down the dim corridors. I proceed east. Okay, so west was not good. So yeah, let's proceed east. At the end of the path, I find myself in a great hall with only the sounds of rain for comfort. The waterlogged red carpet squishes beneath my feet as I approach the center of the room. Once there, I behold a beautiful dining table upon which rests china and silver of the finest construction, as well as the remains of a fantastic feast. As my eyes continue to adjust, I see many chairs surrounding the table, each holding a dinner guest. Noticing movement, I approach the chair at the table's head, but as the truth of the matter dawns on me, I recoil in horror. Probably more corpses. The host of the feast is a corpse, as are all the invited guests. An army of foul, wriggling insects have made homes in their remains, and this is the movement I saw. This once splendid feast was now nothing more than a requiem for the damned. I take a moment to steady my shaking hands, then slowly back away from the table. Desperate to lose sight of the abomination before me, my gaze lands on the chairs upon which the dead were seated. This is a mistake, for the chairs prove to be even more terrible than the feast itself. Each one is covered in a layer of spikes that run from the seat, up the back, and down the arms. This explains the color of the carpet beneath my feet. I can only pray that the unfortunate diners were dead when the meal began. Or if not, it is a simple task to envision the agonized screams that must have sprung forth from their mouths. My mind grasps frantically at the possibility that these souls had committed some terrible crime for which was punishment, though in truth, I suspect they had committed no crime at all. There would be no tomorrow for these unfortunates. This was their last supper. I squint down the dim corridors and proceed west, proceed north. I think west is where we had come from, because we had gone east this time. Okay, blood casks and dinner. So let's go north. The water has risen to my chin, and now laps greedily at my mouth and nose. You dumb fast. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Maybe bastard? Shouts Donut. He surely desires to say more, but the rest of his insult is cut short by the rising water. Grimoire Weiss, wet and tattered, floats to the water's surface. It is already too late for him. This wasn't how it was supposed to end. Game over? What? What did you have me do? What is this?
Well, I don't know.
Is it because I chose all the wrong paths and found all the cool rooms, but not the right one?
I guess so. Let me know if you do want the answer.
Okay.
This sounds kind of obtuse.
So North sent me to the corpse room, which is why I went east. And then I had gone north, which led to the cast. But then I went west, so if I had just continued, let's see. If I had just gone east first, then not north. I would have had to have gone west and north. I don't know. Do I have to do that all over again?
Yeah, but you can skip all the stuff that you've... Here. You can skip all the stuff that you've already read, at the very least. Anyway, for context, these people are stuck in this, like, kind of dream curse, and we have to, like, choose your own adventure our way through them to save them. There's one more over there that we're gonna have to do. But in doing this, we get a sword that I need.
Oh, wait, so we're not doing
This
the previous
person
one?
must be dreaming too.
I already did the one with the mayor.
Can't say I'm very excited to go back there. That dream world sort of creeps me out.
Yeah, I did the one with the guy that was sitting over there or standing over there. Yeah, there you go. You can see him in the distance. And that's why I called you to take over for me, because I straight up cannot read text on the screen right now. It's super uncomfortable.
Perhaps you should spend less time complaining and more time getting on with the mission.
Oh. Grimoire Weiss sounds a little snobbish.
I mean, I told you he's Illidan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's Liam O'Brien. He's Illidan and or War.
Yeah.
So is this a different puzzle? Or
No,
is
this is the same one, I think.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Someone knocks on the prison. Anyone there? Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. Grimoire Weiss. Okay. Blah, blah. Staccato sound. Okay. So we have to proceed north. So those are the beds. Someone has piled them up. Yes, indeed. All right. So I had originally chosen east. Which then led me to west or north. Okay. And I had chosen north, which led me to the 4 portraits with the corpses. West ended up letting... Okay. So I'm gonna have to go west first. Okay. So west... Going... Wait a minute. So I went west. I'd have to proceed south, wouldn't I? Proceed north. Okay. East leads to the dinner. Wait, but south would lead me to where I was, wouldn't it? I think it's... east... And did I proceed north? I mean, this is further than I've ever gone before, so... At this point, I've just chosen all the corridors and I haven't ended up in any of the rooms.
Okay.
So this is new from here.
Okay.
Which way do you want to go?
I mean,
Because we don't want to go
unless
south.
you want me to look it up, like what to do.
Okay, we can... So, at this point, we got here. Alright. Let's see. I'm going to write this down so we can have all directions. We can try east. At the end of the path... Oh! Rain for comfort. The dining table. Oh no! Okay, so east is not the way. So, north? Yeah, because we came from the west. Let's go north. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait, what? So...
Wow.
It's
Rude.
the same thing? Just depending on... So I should have chosen a different room then.
Probably.
But the weird thing is, I thought that the time element... I thought that the time element was based on how many rooms I
Possibly,
spent
yeah.
time in.
Do you want me to just give you the answer? Because
But
it seems like you've run out of interesting things to do.
Well, okay, can you just take it again?
Okay. Let's just do the optimum things instead of getting stuck in this for a while. If that's okay with you.
Well, I'm just wondering, are there any more
This person
directions or not?
can't
So-
say I'm very...
Perhaps you should
We do
spend...
not want
Yeah,
east there. South, west, north. because I think we can't come from the south because that's where we initially came from. So I think the final choice at the end of that would either have to be west or north again.
Okay. Well, it seems like you don't get anything new when you make a mistake.
Well, no. So the interesting thing is, if I do all the correct choices, I don't run into any of the rooms.
Okay.
Because...
Oh, because it's a maze.
Yes.
So it's just kind of trial and error.
Yeah, you have to proceed north for the first option.
Okay, so you've done all of this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let me know if you see something new.
Okay, so you have to go east.
Yep.
Okay, you do... Oh, wait. If you go north, you go to the thing of corpses. So you have to go...
I'm pretty sure it's north.
Really? Because when I chose north, I got to the wall with the 4 corpses.
I'll... Yeah?
Wait, did you choose north?
Yeah.
That's weird. Or maybe it was because west or north. So I ended up choosing north there.
Okay, and then I chose east as the last one.
Wait, you weren't supposed to choose east. We just chose east.
No, we chose north.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
The problem is I haven't been watching you do this, so I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the path. No, this is the death room with the...
We'll see.
This is the dining table. See, this is the dining table.
Okay.
I think we always die.
It's the dining table.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's good. Keep going. It's a very long section.
Okay. So everybody's dead. I'm just making sure there's nothing new.
Mm-hmm.
Yeesh.
Didn't you hear me read this off?
I was zonking for a bit.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So...
It's north.
It's north. Oh! Against all hope, we make it to the front door? Break it down, someone cries. And so I give myself to the effort. In tandem with Yonah and Grimoire Weiss, I slam my body against the thick, sturdy door. On the third try, it gives way, and we find ourselves sprawled on the ground outside the castle. The storm is in retreat. The clouds above are still dark and foreboding, but to the west I can see a thin shimmer of sunlight trying to break through. How can I thank you? I cry as tears join the rain on my cheeks. I would surely have died in there. Looking down, I suddenly notice that my dress is in tatters, and sheepishly try to cover my exposed skin. Your dress? Asked Weiss. Then you are a woman, madame. I am. I proffer the two a smile. I suppose that comes as something of a surprise, seeing as how I exist only in the form of words. I can see that the one known as Donut is disappointed that the torn dress will be given no further description. But he hides it well. With a nod and a shrug, the three of us set forth to our awakening. But behind us, an awakening of another kind is taking place. Black smoke fills the abandoned castle, providing the countless damned souls inside with their final shroud. After a moment, the castle's windows shatter with a mighty roar. A fresh breeze blows through the hallways and corridors, clearing the smoke away for good. As we watch in awe, uncountable black shadows slowly flicker to life, crossing to and fro in front of the broken windows. The castle's dead have awakened to their new life as shades.
You have anything to say about that?
Hopefully there will be no labyrinth next time.
I hear that.
I thought I was just giving you a riddle, not a Zork. But, oh well. Anyway, next one.
And another victim. This work certainly is trying.
This one is a riddle,
Hmm.
so you should have less trouble with this.
Enter this villager's tree?
I
Yes.
figured a book like you would be into all this word stuff, Weiss.
Oh, so they do pronounce it the German
Weiss.
way, Weiss, as opposed to Weiss.
Even
Oh.
I have my exceptions. Now let's be off.
You remember to save, right? We did not save between them. However, if we have to go back through that previous stream, I can just zip through it real quick. It's no biggie.
Oh no! A colony of massive sculptures was visible in the distance, their tall forms scraping against the sky.
I guess the other thing is, like, when we just get to the decision, you'll tell me what you think it is, and then I'll corroborate with the right answer, because I don't really feel like doing this again. It's neat, but it's also not actually the plot of this game. It's just kind of a neat side thing.
Weiss and Donut had never seen such a sight, and their eyes widened as they tried to take it in. Wait, does Weiss have eyes?
Yeah, he's got, like, a weird oval face with, like, a small mouth and 2 eyes. And it looks like they could open and close, but I've never seen it happen in a cutscene.
Those buildings must be huge if we can see them from this far away.
Hey, this one's actually voice acted, because Donut and Weiss weren't voice acted in the
It's
maze.
voice acted for the very beginning, and then it stops, which is why I needed your help.
Ah.
What do you think, Weiss?
As Weiss considered his answer, the sun beat down on them with renewed ferocity.
Perhaps they are some manner of mirage.
He said. Under this heat, a mirage or two would hardly be an unexpected sight. Donut nodded and wiped the sweat off his brow, leaving a trail of sand in its place. He thought he'd never been so thirsty. The ancient road on which they walked was black and cracked with age. Here and there, thin wisps of grass pushed up through the rocky surface, as if defying those who had laid this material down over their home. The heat reflecting from the road made Donut lightheaded. His feet hurting, he crouched down to rest. I don't know how much longer I can do this. Is someone playing a joke on us or what? The complaining had already begun. Weiss tried not to let his eyes roll too much. A joke, he said. No joke. This road leads to the city of art. Perhaps the path itself is simply some manner of grand artistic work. You don't sound very sure of yourself there. Perhaps not, but thinking of it this way might make it easier for you to hear. Or bear. Donut glanced at Weiss's grinning face, shook his head, and resumed walking. As time passed, Donut's feet grew more painful, and his throat drier than he thought possible. He tried not to look further than the next step ahead, because the bright sunlight made him hesitant to trust his own senses. We are definitely getting closer, said Weiss in an effort to cheer his companion. Yes, this much is certain. Encouraged, Donut lifted his gaze. Suddenly, he stopped walking, choosing instead to stand in the middle of the road with his mouth and eyes wide open and his finger pointing in the distance. Water! He cried. It's water! Water? Asked Weiss. Preposterous. I don't see any water. Over there, just ahead of us. Look, the sun is reflecting off of it. Nope. It's a mirage, probably. Without waiting for a response, Donut sprang to life and bounded toward the sight. What in the... There was no water. There was nothing but sand in every direction. Donut closed his eyes and sighed as Weiss floated up behind him and chuckled softly. I believe this is known as a mirage, he said. Many a desert traveler has spoken of such things. Donut shook his head, bewildered. Suddenly, he pointed off in the distance, his eyes wide once more. Wait, there it is! I just missed it. Look, it's right there. Donut sprinted off again, leaving Weiss with no choice but to After a few minutes of running, Donut came to a halt. could have sworn it was just right around here. Confused, he put his hands up to his eyes and rubbed them vigorously. As soon as he stopped, he noticed a blue shimmering pool of clear water just over the next rise. With a shout, he bounded off in search of it. The chase continued for nearly an hour until an exasperated Weiss finally floated up to Donut and struck him in the face with his cover. "Enough, you blethering idiot! Stop this at once! There is no water here!" Donut's face clouded. There isn't? There is not, and perhaps next time you'll listen to me when I tell you as much. Weiss paused for a moment, then continued speaking in a slightly kinder tone. However, I suppose this mad chase was not altogether wasted. It seems we've arrived in the City of Art. Donut looked up. Stretched out before him was a row of impossibly tall sculptures. Their journey was at an end. "They're huge!" cried Donut, completely forgetting that the heat and the pain of the past few hours. "I've never seen anything so big." Each sculpture was formed from roughly the same shape, a tall rectangle that stretched up toward the sky. But that is where the similarities ended. Most were covered with panes of glass that reflected light in 1,000 directions, while others seemed to be nothing but frames of steel. Some had tall spires on their tops, while others possessed triangular caps. "What kind of city is this?" said Donut. "Where are the people? Where are the houses?" "Perhaps the land is intended exclusively for artistic use." The debate continued as they made their way through the city. Miracles of artistry were everywhere. Great iron crates with wheels sat silent on the steel rails. Oh, interesting. Maybe trains? Beautifully carved works with lights of red, amber, and green dangling over every street. Oh, street lights. As they moved away from the massive sculptures, they found a great array of smaller ones. Some were covered in glass or brick, but many were composed of materials they had never before encountered. The sheer variety of colors and styles was staggering. So they had skyscrapers before, and these are probably houses. Unable to find a theme or purpose to the abstract works around them, Donut and Weiss eventually fell silent. On the outskirts of the city, they discovered 3 sculptures in the shape of humans. Donut uttered a sigh of relief as he approached them. Finally! I was getting tired of modern art. The 3 statues were indistinguishable except for a single word chiseled into their right arms. One read Alpha, one read Beta, and the final one read Gamma. As Donut moved to touch the nearest statue, a bird flew from the top of one of the sculptures. Alighting on the statue's shoulder, it emitted a brief, beautiful song that took the form of words. "Only one form is real. The others are false. The real form will always speak the truth. The false ones will only speak lies." Oh, so this is the akin to the labyrinth riddle, except instead of 2 doors with dog heads talking, there's 3. If you guys aren't familiar, in the movie Labyrinth, which starred David Bowie and Jennifer Connelly and used the Muppets, well, not Muppets, but more of Jim Henson's puppetry. That was a fun film. But yeah, there's a point in the labyrinth where she encounters a door, and the key to it is one door only tells the truth, one door only tells lies, and you have to suss out one question. For them, it was one question that you ask to determine who was the door that was telling the truth and which one you should pass through. But so interesting. Only one form is real, the others are false. The real form will always speak the truth, the other ones will only speak lies. So 1 out of the 3 will tell the truth, but the other ones will lie. With that, the bird departed. As if on cue, the 3 statues shuddered to life, acquiring color and form as they began to breathe. "Hey, look at that!" said Donut. They're alive. The triplets bowed low before Donut. Please, said Alpha. You have to get me out of this nightmare. I am real. If he's telling the truth, then he would be real. But if he's lying... Stop lying, said Beta. He turned to Donut and threw his hands into the air. Alpha's a fake. You know. I am the real one. So, if he says Alpha's lying, and Alpha's claiming to be the real one, he could be telling the truth, but... But why is he proclaiming stop lying, and then you know I'm the real one? What a load of crap, said Gamma. Beta is a fake. Everyone knows I'm the only real one around here. Oh, great. This is just one big circle. Because, well, at the same time, Alpha's the only one that has stated that he himself is real but hasn't tried to refute anyone else. So, if Beta is telling the truth, then Alpha is fake and Gamma's the liar. Which would make sense because Gamma, as a liar, would be trying to say that Beta is fake. Now, if Gamma's telling the truth, then that means Beta is lying. But how can that be? Because, well, no, Alpha, yeah, he would lie about Alpha. Wait, but if Beta would lie, then he's saying that Alpha is fake, which means that Alpha should be real. Do you see what I'm getting at?
I know the answer, but looking at this so far, it could be any of them. Is there any other information than their three statements right here?
Well, I'll have to click again just to see. Their respective pleas given, the three statues return to their frozen states as silence once again envelops the city.
Is there literally no more information?
I think this is all you really need. First off, Alpha has not tried to attest to the verity of anyone else, only themselves. Beta and Gamma are both proclaiming that the prior one is lying. Only the fake ones are liars. The real one is telling the truth. So as I was saying before, if Gamma is telling the truth and Beta is a fake, that means Beta must lie. But if Beta is saying that Alpha is fake and Alpha is in fact fake, then that means he couldn't be lying, which means that Beta... Do you see what I'm getting at? Which means Gamma can't be telling the truth in that situation. Now, if Beta was telling the truth, then Alpha would be fake and Gamma would be fake, which would actually make... Okay.
Oh, no. Hold up. Okay. I'm pretty sure it's Beta. Reason being, Alpha...
That's what I was just getting to.
Yeah, because Alpha is an easy verify on the lie. You know, there's just one statement there. But if Beta was lying, that means Alpha's telling the truth. And if Gamma's lying, that means Beta's telling the truth. Because...
But that... Right, which is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
That means that... So, what I was going to get to is that if Beta is telling the truth, Alpha would be fake and Gamma would be lying.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, because then Alpha and Gamma would both be liars, and they'd be both making false statements.
Yeah, because Beta and Gamma are making the both negative followed by a positive, and so if you flip those, that means if Gamma's the liar, Beta is the real one, everyone knows that I'm a liar. Yeah.
So Beta's the one that's
it's got to be Beta.
When you consider all the statements... when you consider all of the statements, only one of them could be the real thing, said Weiss. Donut furrowed his eyebrows and considered his answer. Only one form is real, the others are false. The real form will always speak the truth. The false ones will only speak lies. So the real one is Beta.
Yeah.
The real one is Beta. Though Donut's voice betrayed a notable lack of confidence, he was relieved to see Weiss nodding at him. If Alpha were telling the truth, began Weiss in dry tones of a lecture, Beta and Gamma would both be fakes, but in that case Gamma's claim that Beta is fake would be the truth, even though Gamma is a liar. Therefore, that theory crumbles. Now let us presume that Gamma spoke the truth. That makes Alpha and Beta liars. In this situation, however, Beta is calling Alpha a liar, which would leave us with two statues telling the truth. Finally, let us assume that Beta is telling the truth. If so, Alpha and Gamma's lies would make sense. Therefore, Beta must be real. Woohoo! Good deductions. As Weiss finished his explanation, Alpha and Gamma crumbled soundlessly to dust, while Beta sprang to life once more. Congratulations, villager, said Weiss in a cheerful voice. The time to awaken has arrived. Thank you for saving me, cried the villager. He dropped to his knees and bowed his head as low as it could go before an uncomfortable donut pulled him to his feet. Why did you have a dream like this? Asked Weiss. Have you been to this city before? The villager slowly looked around at the bizarre objects and sculptures that dotted the landscape, and then shook his head. I don't think so. I mean, it's impossible, right? There's no way I could have ever been to a place like this. But at the same time, I feel like I've seen it before. Now, I haven't been playing this from the beginning like you have, but didn't your main character once exist in the present, and now it's the far distant future?
Yes.
So I'm almost wondering if it could have happened to other people, or if they have some kind of residual memory thing going on. We'll have to see.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Kind of? I only know bits and pieces because effectively they give you some major insights in Automata. But I'm kind of scant on the details.
Deja vu, muttered Donut. Just like the mayor. The vague sense of unease that struck Donut during the mayor's dream spread once more through his mind.
Thank you, Sean.
That was rough.
I am positive I have seen that place before.
Okay, that's enough. Don't need you getting all weird on me too. Okay, there. Now all the villagers can wake up, right?
Yes, if the mayor's assumption was correct. I think I have had enough wordplay to last a lifetime. Thank you very much.
You're telling me. Anyway, let's go see the mayor.
Anything back over here?
Remember to save.
Yep. Let's see, where is it? There it is. Thank you for freeing me from that torment. There was an absolutely 0% chance I was going to be able to do that on my own. That was 40 minutes of text.
So, I should depart.
Oh, how
Yeah.
wonderful.
Thank you, Shell.
Thank you so much. Here, I have something for you.
Hey, got a one-handed sword
Wow,
face.
this looks valuable. I can really have it?
Of course. It's apparently a weapon of some renown, but we have little use for it.
Well, we appreciate it.
Thank you again for everything.